Welcome back to The Takeout. Apologies for the cliche, but as you know, everything's bigger in Texas, including political beef. Congressional candidate Colin Allred says he wants an apology from Democratic Senate candidate James Talarico, as a social media influencer without evidence accused Talarico of making a racially insensitive remark about Allred that Talarico denies. Allred detailed his conversation with Talarico in an interview with CBS News Texas. Take a listen.
We spoke on the phone, and I offered him a chance to apologize, and he declined to do that.
So he didn't apologize?
That's right.
Did that surprise you?
It is surprising. I think that's the easiest thing to do in this situation.
I see you shaking your head, Joel Payne, who is part of our conversation here, Democratic strategist, CBS News contributor, and CBS News political director Finn Gomez. Joel Payne, why shake your head in disgust or in concern?
Family business should stay inside the family. I don't know what James Talarico said to this influencer. It seems like whatever he said landed the wrong way. I do think it's interesting, though, because this is the first time that James Talarico has run a national, it's a state campaign, but it's a national campaign.
As most Senate campaigns are.
And what I would say is this is his first time under the Klieg lights of the national political apparatus. And I think when you have that, you have moments like this where you think you're having an off-the-record conversation and you're not. That's not that uncommon. But what I was reacting to was just the need for Democrats to understand what the bigger picture is here. Look, primaries are healthy. They're a good idea. Democrats need a good primary in Texas. But after that primary, they need the party to unite behind either Jasmine Crockett or James Talarico. And to the extent that this is going to prevent that from happening, I'd imagine that there's some Democrats in Texas who are going to get together, try to get some folks to have some conversations and bring the temperature down a bit.
Who even instigates that conversation? There's no natural leader of the party in that state.
Well,
right?
There's some national leaders. I don't know. Does someone like Barack Obama get on the phone? Does someone, in kind of Harris High Command from 2024 get on the phone? Someone who has relationships on both sides. I don't know. I'm speculating. But my bigger point is here. I think folks need to keep their eye on the ball. If there's any route to Democrats taking control of the Senate in 2026, it's probably going to run through Texas.
It has been suggested to me, and we'll bring into this in a second, but it's been suggested to me that Allred is one of those Democrats who has to run in a new district because of the redraw of Texas. He's leaving the district he's in to run against Julie Johnson from another part of the Dallas area, and he's not as well known there. And that part of what he may be doing here is trying to drive up Crockett's numbers inside this district to his benefit to try to—
Quite the bank shot,
right?
Ed, if that's the case. Maybe it is. I also
that this
think
may have more to do with him, his chances, than the Talarico.
I guess what I would
race.
impress upon anybody, whether it's Team Allred, Team Crockett, Team Talarico, the Texas Democratic Party is better when all three of those entities are intact after this election season in whatever form it takes. Whether any of them are the nominee, none of them are the nominee, one of them is governor one day, one of them is president one day. The Texas Democratic Party needs all three of those folks to be strong and vibrant going
Meanwhile,
forward.
I will say, though, I mean, I did talk to some Republicans about this today, and they were very happy about this outcome. I mean, the way it just looks, the way that, like, this infighting that Joel was referring to, it feels like from an outside perspective and lens, it feels a little manufactured, frankly. The fact that he's like this all of a sudden, this umbrage he's taking over this, it doesn't hit right on a national level.
Can I just say one thing really quickly? I don't want to miss the perceived slight here is real.
Sure.
If it's actually what is being alleged here about Talarico, I think the evidence is a little slim on that right now. And I guess what I would say is, whatever the slight is, get in a room, figure it out, make apologies, make amends, and let's move on to get to the work of having strong Democrats in Texas.
How are those Republicans feeling about Turning Point USA endorsing Ken Paxton in the equally delicious and controversial Republican Senate primary in Texas over the incumbent John Cornyn?
Yeah, the Cornyn allies that I spoke to today were not happy about that, obviously. Look, the TPA USA is a big deal. Right? I mean, obviously, they're a big deal within the Republican context of politics. They're a huge stakeholder in Trump's successful 2024 win. It's going to bode well for him. But it's still roughly a pretty tight race. There's a new poll that came out this week, University of Houston, that showed him within about 7 points. There's about 12% of those who were asked about the race were still undecided. So there's still like a little bit up for grabs. I think this, though, however, has a big impact.
This is the three-way race between John Cornyn, the incumbent, Ken Paxton, the attorney general who wants to unseat him, and Congressman Wesley Hunt from the Houston area. In what is, by all accounts, a messy primary.
Say, two factors in this Texas race to watch. We just talked about one of them is how do Democrats emerge from this primary season? The second is, who is the candidate that Republicans put up? If they put up Ken Paxton, that race automatically becomes a tier 1 target for Democrats in the Senate. If it's
Because
John
of
Cornyn,
Paxton's unpopularity.
because of his unpopularity, he's a conservative firebrand, and he cuts himself off from a certain percentage of Texas voters. I think Democrats think they can go after. If it's John Cornyn, that race becomes a lot less delicious for Democrats.
But also at the same time, even with those polling numbers that we saw on the Democratic side, if it's Crockett, there are a lot of Republicans who feel really good about their chances against her.
And this will also be a good test of TPUSA.
Yeah,
whether they still
absolutely.
got the juice post Charlie Kirk's assassination, whether they can really deliver bodies to the polls and make it happen for a Republican.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a very definable metric here in this.
What does President Trump do? Also, I think the thing that Donald Trump might do is might weigh in with Wesley Hunt, and that'll make this thing very messy.
Yes, and then we'll just take the show to Texas. Joel Payne, Finn Gomez, pack your bags. We may be there soon.